Sure that you always lock your car as soon as you get in it. Like, do you carry pepper spray? You should carry pepper spray. Do you carry a taser? You should carry a taser. Before you go on that jog, before you go on that walk, before you go on that date, before you go here or there or shopping or on a trip or whatever, you need to make sure you're sharing your location. Make sure.
The normal thing they usually tell younger girls is be careful because you can easily get gripped when you're in a close place with a man. Don't allow any man to touch you. If any man touch you, come and tell us. Or did anybody touch you? Like everything, they always tell younger girls, like be careful of men. They are always warning girls. At least me, I remember when I was growing up, my dad, my mom would always tell me, they always warn me about boys and men, okay? Anybody touch you, anybody talk to you, anyhow, anybody do anything, come home and tell us. Stay away from them. Don't let any of them deceive you. They are all liars. Even if it's not just about rape, it might be about stealing or even, unaliving and all of that. It is mostly men. If you're walking on the road at night and you see a man coming towards you, you are literally scared and you are running. But once you see that, oh, it's a woman, you're a little bit relieved. But if you're walking on the road and you look back, or you can see a shadow of somebody following you, and your sense is telling you it's a man, you are afraid. In fact, you will start running even before it start pursuing you. It might not even be going to harm you or something, but because of your brain tells you that this person is dangerous, this particular gender is very dangerous, they can do anything. Okay, they can do anything. I don't know if it's just me, but were you warned when you were growing up to stay away from men? This shows how this particular gender can be very dangerous. They are very dangerous. Okay, so that is why even that same gender, even your dad, your brother, they will always protect you. You'll see a boy or probably your brother and probably sees you talking to his friend, or his friend tells him that I like you, or you tell him that you like his friend. They are always very aggressive about it. No, no, because they know who they are. They know that they can be very dangerous. They can be deceived. They are manipulative. They are everything. So they are always trying to protect you from their agenda. I have this interesting video to share with you all. She's talking about how we've been warned while growing up to stay away from men. But at the end of the day, now people are still saying that it is not all men. If it's not all men, why were we want to stay away from men? All men. We were want to stay away from all men. But now people are saying, but it's not all men. Probably you're the one that you're going out at night. You're the one that is doing this. You're the one that is entering into those bad men hands. And they say it's not all men. Let me read this video for you all to watch. Then come back and talk about it.
Did you guys see that video of that girl that was like saying, this is everything that society says to women? And then she just goes off on this list of like, make sure that you always lock your car as soon as you get in it. Like, do you carry pepper spray? You should carry pepper spray. Do you carry a taser? You should carry a taser. Before you go on that jog, before you go on that walk, before you go on that date, before you go here or there or shopping or on a trip or whatever, you need to make sure you're sharing your location. Make sure your location's on. Make sure your friends have your location. Anytime you go out and you're like at a bar, you're out drinking, whatever, cover your drink. Cover your drink. If you don't cover your drink, get a new drink. Make sure you keep your drink covered. Oh, here's a nail polish. Wear this nail polish to figure out if someone is trying to roofie you or not, someone's trying to take advantage of you or not, someone's trying to take your life or not. Oh, do you know self-defense? Do you know how to defend yourself if someone comes up to you in a parking lot and tries to attack you? Oh, guys only want one thing. Boys only want one thing. Do you have a lock on your house? Do you have a security system on your house? You need to make sure your doors are locked, your deadbolt is locked. You need to make sure there's a stick in your sliding door so that even if they can get it unlocked, they're not able to slide it open. But make sure you have a security system. Make sure you have security cameras. Make sure you have your phone on you. Make sure you have something by your bed to defend yourself in case an intruder comes in. The list just went on and on, all this different stuff. And then this girl's sitting there and she goes, I think I'm afraid of men. And then everyone was like, oh my gosh, don't be ridiculous. Oh my gosh, that's so rude. You can't say that. This is what I'm going to say. Think about everything you've ever been told. Because then I saw this other video of this woman who was like, basically she was like, my mother never lied to me. She was like, from the time I was 5, 6, and 7 years old, listen, I'm not saying do this, I'm just saying this is what she said. Ever since this girl was literally 5, 6, 7 years old, you know what her mom said to her all the time? Her mom said, do not be alone in a room with a man. If a man takes you in a room alone, he wants to R-word you. If a man ever tries to drive you somewhere, he wants to R-word you. If a man ever tries to be alone with you, he wants to R-word you. Anytime you're alone with a man, like, kick and scream and get out of that room. Never be alone with a man. Like, she was telling this to, like, her child, because very clearly, like, that mother probably went through something very, very traumatic. But anyway, she was just saying the stuff that her mom used to tell her to try to protect her, and she wasn't SA'd. The daughter wasn't SA'd. And she was trying to protect her. And she was like, if you ever sleep with, like, don't sleep with any boys in high school, because if you sleep with any boys, they're going to tell everyone that you're, you know, the W word, I'm not going to say it, and et cetera, all this stuff. And the whole comment sections was just like thousands, tens of thousands of women that are just like, I wish my mom would have told me this, like, it would have protected me, like, I wish I would have known this, like, this happened to me as a kid, and this happened to me, and all this different stuff. Anyway, my point being, that whole video, okay, basically sums up everything that women are told, like, literally from birth, it feels like. I remember as a child, my mom having these conversations with me. I remember being very young and not really understanding the reasoning behind it, but just knowing that the things she was telling me were, like, very serious, like, very real. And she, you know, she was afraid, you know what I mean? Like, she was afraid enough to know, like, I need to protect you. And of course I do the same thing with my sons. Like, I do my best to protect them and guide them. But for women, it doesn't just stop at 16. It doesn't stop when they're like, you're big enough and strong enough now to defend yourself. It's literally your entire life. Like, as a woman, as a female, it is your entire life. I will never walk alone at night. I will never go on a run. I'm never going to go on a run alone, period. I just won't. It's not worth the risk because I have kids. I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to go hiking alone. I never was allowed to growing up, and I'm never going to do it alone now. Just so many different things. And I go out, I live in West Virginia, and I go out with friends, other moms with kids, and, like, almost all of them that I hang out with, they all are carrying guns, because they're like, you live in a state where you can do that. But at the same time, all the places we go to hang out, it's like secluded, or it's like, you know, in the woods, it's like hiking trails and stuff. And they're just like, I'm alone with my kids. I'm not going to not be protected, basically. But the bottom line is, you know, no, it's not all men. It's enough men, though, that all women are told this religiously, no matter how they grow up, no matter what kind of parents they have. If they have strict parents, if they have gentle parents, if they have religious parents, atheist parents, whatever kind of parents they have, all women are told this. All girls are told some version of this from birth, essentially. But then when we look at dating, and we look at relationships, and we look at marriage, we just look at these same exact women that we're telling, you need to protect yourself, and you need to have a healthy level of fear. I don't want to say be fearful, but just like with a dog, it's like, me personally, like, I have a healthy fear of dogs. And we should have a healthy fear of, right, men. Not to say that all men are going to do these things. Growing up, me personally, looking back, it's very sad to say this, but looking back, most of the men that I found myself alone with, things happened. Bad things happened. Some of the time. Does that make sense? No details. I'm not going to give the details. I'm just saying things did happen that were non-consensual. And now, of course, I'm 31, and I realize, oh, it's a big deal. But then we look at these same women, and we're like, all those men that we told you to be fearful of, and we told you to be careful around, and we told you to protect yourself around, well, it's actually not all of them. And once you start dating them, you can let your guards down, and you can basically just, now you can assume that they all have your best intention. They all have the best intentions, and they all have your best interests at heart. And they're all going to care about protecting you suddenly, and they're all going to care about respecting you suddenly, and they're all going to care about not hurting other women suddenly, right? It's like when you're single or when you're young, it's like, be fearful and be cautious and protect yourself. But then it's like, when you're in the dating world, then it's like, well, if he's your boyfriend or if you're getting serious with him, you don't really need to worry about any other stuff. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should be afraid of your boyfriend. I'm not saying that you should carry mace around when you're on a date with your husband. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is we should realize that a lot of men in our world today are doing things that are conditioning them and encouraging them to view women in a very unhealthy way. And unfortunately, sometimes to treat women in a very dangerous and unhealthy way. And in saying that and doing that, we should enter into relationships with that understanding. We should enter into relationships not really with this default of like, this person's a great guy, he would never do anything to hurt women, and he has no desire to hurt women or whatever. But at the end of the day, and I say this all the time, I'm sorry, but if the majority of men are viewing pornography and exploiting women in that way, they are conditioning themselves to desire that type of sexual activity. They are conditioning themselves to objectify women and dehumanize women. They are conditioning themselves to potentially desire or whatever the violent acts that are inflicted upon women in over 95% of pornography. And if most men are viewing that, we should be very careful in the men that pursue us or the men that we pursue. We should be very careful dating, being engaged, and being married. And I say this with I try to say this with a lot of compassion and not a lot of cynicism, but we should expect verification and proof that the men that we are potentially marrying and having kids with and being vulnerable with, that they are who they say that they are. Because unfortunately, who they present on the outside could be completely different than who they are in their phone.
All men are capable of doing evil things. That is my own. All men are capable of doing evil things, because if it's not all men, while they were warning us, I don't know if they warned you, but they warned me, right? But they were warning us while we were growing up. They will tell you a specific kind of man. There was no specs or, oh, look at this kind of spec on a man before you will know that it's dangerous. No. All men, okay? They tell you stay away from men. Any man, just boys, in fact, boys, men, they always tell you this particular gender is dangerous. That is why when you see a woman do something very evil, they're always like, how? Because most of the time, women are so loving. They are different from men, right? But these ones, they will do it with their full chest. It's not all men, but it is always a man that will grape you. It is not all men, but you cannot even go hiking alone and you see a man and you will not be afraid. You don't know him. Even if you know himself, you are just going to be afraid that anything can happen. It is not all men, but they will warn you not to go to a man's house. If you go to a man's house or probably your friend's house and a dad is around and, let's say they will blame you as a young girl and tell you, why did you go there? Or what were you wearing that made him to touch you? And it's not all men. In fact, you see them blaming women or girls for raping. They don't want to let the men take accountability of what they've done and all of that. And the thing is, even the good ones change, right? Because I personally, I believe that all men can be dangerous. Okay, it just takes you as an individual to say, okay, I am not going to do so thing. I just feel like in their head, they believe that they are superior and they can do anything and get away with it. That's what gives them that power to do anything, and they can get away with it because society claps for them and will not even blame them for it. When a man does something wrong, they always question the victim. They will tell you like, okay, what were you doing? Why were you working late at night? Why were you working late at night? Why did you do this? Why did you dress like this? Or why did you do this? Why did you do that? It was because you were alone. It was because they will never question or educate these men that what they are doing is wrong. They will always want to educate women. They will always want to tell women, oh, do not do this. do not do that. But they will never sit men down and tell them, oh boys, okay? They will never tell them, when you see a woman and she tells you no, leave her immediately. No is no. They don't educate them that when a woman says no, it is no. You will never see them educate a man that when she says no, it is no. Don't persist, don't insist, don't force it. Okay? They don't educate them, but they will educate women and start telling them, oh, don't wear this, don't dress like this, don't talk like this, don't do like this, don't walk like this, don't go to this place at night, don't do this, don't go to a man's house, don't. But they will not educate a man that once a girl even comes to your house as a friend or a family member, you don't touch her. I don't think they educate men like that, but they always sit girls down, sit women down, and tell them what not to do to avoid violence or abuse from men. But they will not teach the men what to do. I feel like they should just switch it, because there's no amount of how you want to protect yourself. These men are still dangerous. They need to go and tell, like, educate them, because it's like, I don't know where they get their education from, because like all of them actually think alike and they do almost the same thing, right? And the thing is, some people say, oh, a good man, because in the comment section some people are like, good men are a good protector, they protect you and all of that. Yes, a good man will protect you, but the thing is that a good man can also change. Okay, the person you think that is good to you has been bad to someone else. Someone came online and was talking about our dad. Our dad is a good person, our dad is good, da 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 da, but does not mean that our dad has not done evil things to other girls or other women outside, or is not bad to our mom, right? It might be a good dad, but it was husband to the mom, or even I must have hurt other women while he was growing up. So if he's a good man to you, is he a good man to other people out there? Is he a good man all around that, or is just good to people outside but bad to you? You see, some men are good to other people outside. They want everybody to think that they are good. So they do everything all good, all nice, all kind. But the woman they got married to inside, they are worse and bad to them. So the thing is, I just feel like the thing should just switch, to be honest, because the whole education on girls, or don't do this, learn how to do protect yourself, self-defense, all of that. Yes, we need it, but when are they going to start educating boys and men that when a woman said no, it is no? When is no, it is no. You don't cross boundaries, you don't do this, you don't touch somebody anyhow that is not that doesn't want to be touched, if that makes sense. Anyway, what is your take on this conversation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Respectfully, your girl Mariah David, and thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one.